Good evening and welcome to Tok Piksa on this Independence Eve. The colors, pride and patriotism of independence later in the program. But first, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill speaks on the Black Cat Trail attack, the future of our programs with Australia, and the government's agenda for this month's Parliament session. Mr. Prime Minister, a black day for tourism with the attack on tourists and local people on the Black Cat Trail. What is the reason for this? In your view, why are our people still attacking tourists?
Well, this is an incident that is regrettable because it has happened in a very remote area where we do not have any contact with the immediate villages surrounding the area. And these are just acts of escapees from what we gather from the jail breakout that recently happened in Buimo prison. But what has happened is that they've attacked, it appears to us that they've attacked specifically the porters who were helping the trekkers. So it was not aimed at the trekkers as per se, although they did sustain some injuries and things. But it is obviously, it's early stages for us to make any conclusion. But what seems to have happened is that it was targeted attack. And they went to try and do as much damage to the porters, and as a result of that, 2 of our porters have died, and a few of the other ones have sustained serious injuries. They are now at the Enga Hospital getting treatment for it, but this is happening because, as I said, there are some sections of our community who continue to disrespect other members of our country, our citizens of our country. They continue to disrespect themselves. They get high on drugs and alcohol. They just use this opportunity to commit this kind of serious crime. So, we deplore these kind of actions, and we are doing everything possible to. We have had now on the ground a mobile unit. We've had additional police from Leh to go into the area. We have been assisted by the police helicopter in trying to making sure that we get to the bottom of this. The investigations are starting. They're interviewing all the porters. They're interviewing all the neighboring villages. They're interviewing the trekkers and all the others who were at the scene to try and establish why this has happened and how we can put an end to this kind of senseless violence.
We've had instances in the past where tourists have been attacked, but not local porters. This would be one of the first.
This is one of the first, and it is unfortunate that has happened. We've had some sections of the community in the Morobe province suggesting that there may have been some jealousy about who is providing services to the trekking company and who is missing out. Those stories are starting to come out, but there is no reason. That is no reason for anyone to go out and commit these kind of crimes.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. In other recent developments, Australia, new government, new Prime Minister. Have you spoken with Mr. Abbott? And will we be expecting changes in our bilateral and trade relations with them?
I think our bilateral and trade relationship with Australia will continue to grow because we are very strong. We've got a very strong investment climate between the two countries. Very strong trading that is going on between the two countries. Australia continues to become the largest investor in our country. And those are the bases in which I think forged by our historical and traditional ties in terms of the World War II and the sacrifices that many have made in that. We will see that our relationship between the two countries will continue to grow. So I did speak to the incoming Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, on Monday. He has reassured me that all the arrangements that we have in place with Australian government will be honoured by the Australian government. In fact, he has gone even further. He has told me that he will assist in providing 150 additional policemen to come in and assist us in maintaining law and order in our country. So, and that is a welcome announcement by the new Prime Minister. I will meet him at the margins of the APEC meeting in Bali, where the Asia Pacific Economic Community will meet. All the leaders from those countries will meet. 21 of us. We are the only country in the Pacific that is there. We will discuss more of our relationship and the arrangements that we have now in place. But all in all, let me say this, it is very strong, very vibrant, and continuing to build from that into the future years.
With relation to the Asylum Center and the asylum agreement with Australia, a lot of local issues have risen in the interim. Where are we on that?
Of course, there was a bit of misunderstanding on the part of how the procurement of some of these contracts will take place. Some of our local communities, especially in Manus, think that they've missed out on some of those opportunities. We have communicated that to the Australians, especially the officials at the officials level, to take into account and consider what can be utilized from the available capacity in Manus, and the Manus communities must be given first opportunity. Now, this is a permanent arrangement where a permanent processing center will be established. So the ongoing opportunities for the people in Manus province is quite large. And I believe that given time, they will realize that that is an investment that is worth having. On part of PNG government, we have already given close to 18 million kina. That money was given over to the Manus provincial government when we arrived in Manus not so long ago, when I made a visit to Manus. That was to go to building the roads in Manus, rebuilding the Manus Provincial High School, rebuilding the Lorangai Hospital. Those funds were selected for those purposes and given to them already. So I think our people on the ground must use some of these funds to start delivering and maintaining some of these services, so that our people know that we are very committed to the arrangements that we have. We will honor every word that we have said we will do. We would like our people in Manus to be comfortable with the arrangements. We want them to be fully participating in this arrangement, and our government will make sure that we continue to communicate that with them.
Thank you, sir. Back on the home front, September session of Parliament has just begun. What's the government's agenda? Welcome back. This month's session of Parliament, according to Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, is an important one. He tells us why.
Well, government has got a few legislative programs that's going to go before Parliament. In fact, this afternoon we are now debating on the family protection law. As we all know, the violence against families, especially women and children, is on the rise in the country. So in order for us to protect those families who are subject to abusive fathers and abusive family members, we want that protection law to be established. So that is one of the laws that we are putting forward to Parliament to discuss. We are also putting forward our district authorities bill, that is to improve the level of services that are going to the remote areas, especially the districts. We have, as a government, this year made substantial amount of money available to the districts. We must make sure that we now back it up with a capacity, so that those monies are managed well, spent well for the priorities that our government has set. And that includes health, education, law and order, and infrastructure maintenance. Those are the funds that 10 million kina per district is targeted for those services. It is important that we build the administration around it, so that they spend it properly on those areas. Far too long we've seen a lot of government funds being wasted, and the opportunities being wasted, and our people continue to suffer. We have to stop this. We are looking forward to passing all those laws. And of course, on top of that, we are continuing to put reports. Today we are tabling the report on the media economic report of the country, how we are tracking, how we are managing the budget, how we are managing the country's economy. That report is now being tabled for people to understand and appreciate that a government is working to making sure that everybody is aware of what is going on. We're also updating the country on the LNG project and all the major gas and oil projects that are happening in the country. The Minister for Petroleum is, as we speak today, is presenting that report to Parliament, so that public are also aware what is happening in there, because it's a big project. It's going to change Papua New Guinea forever. That is why it is important that people are made to understand what is going on.
You mentioned the LNG project. The second LNG project, how far away from seeing something set up?
Well, that is discussions are going on at the moment with the investors and potential developers and the owners of the resource, which is, of course, the people who hold the license and people who have discovered the oil, which is Interoil. Now, those discussions are going on, and they're talking to 3 or 4 of the major oil companies in the world, and I'm hoping that they will conclude them quickly. We have given them extensions to do so. Because they've invested hundreds of millions of kina into finding this. So we must give them the opportunity. If we try to intervene all the time, we don't want to put out a perception that Papua New Guinea is a place where we cannot invest without government interfering too much. We must allow the private sector to try and handle the negotiations. So when they come to an arrangement that yes, we are now going to develop it in this manner, they'll come to government and we will sit down and talk about what benefits it will get as a government for our people and for our country.
Now, other parliament business, we've heard in the past week or so that prominent Papua New Guineans, professional Papua New Guineans, have voiced concerns about the changing of the number of sitting days from 63 to 40 and the requirements for votes of no confidence from 1/5 to 1/10.
Yes. Well, let me start with the number of days. It's not a new issue. Over the last 40 years, no parliament has met those number of days. The law is there, but we have never met it, so we are always in breach. So to meet that legal requirement, we are making the amendment so that we comply with the law. It's no point making laws that we are continuously breaching. That means we don't have respect for the laws ourselves. So it is just a minimum number of days Parliament can sit. Parliament can sit every day for the rest of the year. There is no stopping parliaments to meet into the future. That is why we are committed to making sure that we provide the stability. This country deserves stability. For 40 years we have seen instability at work. Can we please give our country a bit of a break? Let us enjoy some stability so that we can grow the economy of the country. We can develop the services for our country. We can develop the infrastructure. We can attend to the law and order issues in the country. The challenges that we have are many. And these issues like this are just distractions by our opponents who are wanting to get into power at any cost.
With lesser days for sitting, can we expect to see more getting done by our members of parliament?
I think more is getting done now. You can see that the parliament is, although sitting, you can see members of parliament are working. I've been in politics for a while now, and this is the most hard-working members of parliament I've ever seen. They attend parliaments. Every day there's a quorum. There is no deferral of parliaments like it used to be before. They're debating on issues. They're making sure we pass the laws, making sure that reports are tabled on time. So I think there's a fresh air, a sense of freshness coming, and air of expectation in the country that there's more to come.
Now, onto the death penalty. You've mentioned earlier death penalty and related provisions and amendments in legislation to deal with violent crimes, domestic violence. In your point of view, we as a country, are we ready for them?
Well, the death penalty came about because when the Somalia government introduced it in the last term of parliament, we just allowed the mechanisms on which we can implement that. So we just introduced the implementation process of the death penalty. Now, I have greatest respect for life, meaning that there's everyone's right to be living. We are here for a special reason. We are created for a special purpose. We must contribute to our community, our families, our country in a meaningful way so that we can make others also equally have the enjoyment of life and the standard of living that we all want them to do. So I think taking one's life is a very serious matter. So those who have been found guilty of this hideous crime and this very, very bad and brutal matters that are taking place in the country, we must send in a strong message. And I appreciate the arguments coming from our Christians and our churches. I really appreciate that. But we're not the only country in the world that has got death penalty because to address crimes like this. And in future, we will have a look at it again. But we must take stock of what we have. And that is why we have passed that bill and passed that law. And now it's up to the courts to now implement the law.
So, we've had positive turnaround financially. We've been hearing good stories about what's happening financially. But we've also been told that inflation will be rising in the next couple of years. What is the government doing to buffer our people from that effect?
The main thing is to maintain stability in our fiscal policy and monetary policy. And what we are doing is that we're trying to make sure that interest rates are stable. We're trying to make sure that the exchange rates are stable. Our foreign reserves are stable. We're trying to make sure that employment continues to grow. Our wages bills continue to maintain the level of increases that our society is expecting. And as a result of all this work that government is doing, including maintaining stability on our government expenditure, we don't expend outside our budget appropriations. And at the same time, trying to keep a control of the inflationary effects.
3 days out from our 30th independence anniversary, what do we, as a country, have to celebrate from your perspective?
We have a great country. We've got, yes, a lot of challenges, but we are now starting to move in the right direction. We have a new sense of hope in the country. We have a government that is caring for the people. We are now starting to address issues that has been neglected for so long. As I said, education, free healthcare. We are starting to also pay for people like the village courts, village councils, village magistrates, the peace officers, people who have been neglected. We're putting money into the districts. We're putting money into all the LLGs. We're putting money into infrastructure. Now, there is a massive, massive investment by any government since independence. Many big investment. We're also now working towards introducing pension system for disabled, pension system for our elderly who are 65 and old, who are not able to look after themselves. We as a country have an obligation to looking after these people. So I think the country has got a big, bright future, and this is worth celebrating. This is worth celebrating, and of course, looking forward to being part of that excitement to develop the country. And I think every Papua New Guinean should feel very proud. We are the only country in the world. No other country is like ours. Very diverse, but very united. 800 different languages, 1,000 different tribes. There's not one single country in the world like us. And that diversity is our strength and our unity, and I think it's worth maintaining and celebrating.
Unique from any other country in the world, those are good, strong words to live by. And from the Prime Minister's desk, we take a trip to the school grounds, streets, and towns of our country. Meredith Kusa with a report on how and why we are celebrating our 38th year of independence.
Independence, according to all good dictionaries, means the time when a country gained political freedom from outside control. Papua New Guinea gained its independence 38 years ago, 16th September 1975. We received it on a golden plate after being a colony of Australia and Germany, which occupied the southern eastern quarter of the island of New Guinea before it was taken over by Australia in 1906. Some Papua New Guineans ask, should Australia have given us independence? You're probably thinking I'm going to give an account of how the country has progressed within its 38 years of nationhood. But I won't. I'm not going to bore you with damning facts of our poor social indicators, high crime rates, or the state of the economy. You've heard that all before, every day through the mass media. Instead, I'm going to tell you that many Papua New Guineans are grateful that we are an independent nation. Independence reminds us that we are a nation of 1,000 tribes, complex yet bound together through diversity. It's a time of reflection and renewing broken promises. The fact is we cannot change the past, but we can create a better future.
In a way, you can talk also. I got 800 different nations inside Lodislag, Liklik Island country, Blimi Papua New Guinea. But you may stop unity, you may stop one bell. Na me believe also because long all first papa hat long all na one bell spirit and stop na me long all longen. You may stop also. So me feeling also now me looking plenty all developments come up now. Me believe suppose this la unity stop. This la all good plus something now will come up inside la country. God bless him, you me one time planting minerals na. Me believe for some by me stop good. So thank you. Me hama mas lo independence.
One family working together. Papua New Guinea, we must come up one nation. One soul, working together. One people.
Privilege from Papua New Guinea, as a Papua New Guinea, people got big plan so people got independence now, people like celebrate. And this fucking independence, people celebrate the 20 years, that's all. This time no sakama was some kind. Now we want a special independence and we can look him.
Stop long room, level base. Nami bungi mo man Mary, na olito.
It's the day that brought us this far. You know, we gained independence, and then it brought so much changes, improvements, and so much development. And me and my colleague, we are the first female firefighters. We are the pioneers, being the first female in PNG to work with the male colleagues. And what I believe as a Papua New Guinean is that when we gained independence, it brought me this far. And I'm proud to be a Papua New Guinean and celebrate this day.
I'm happy to be a Papua New Guinean, and I'm so proud to be a soldier, as a second intake of soldier women in this country. I'm proud to save my country.
This is day 2 and one special day blow me, lo life blow me. Mama bin karami lo 16th September 1973, and I'll be turning 40, and this is my 40th birthday, and I'm really proud. After taking a day's walk with my comrades of FSB, now we sign up on time all crew of MTV. We talk thank you, Lord, this time.
Working together, one people, talk about one time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Walking together, yeah, yeah, yeah. Walk about one time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rock our head, boy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, very psyched up for this event.
Great, we're celebrating it to prove our culture and our identity.
It has shown Papua New Guinea has come a long way, and I am proud to be a Papua New Guinean.
Independence bigla something yang sub. Better ibu country belum plat, yang sana lo leg belum plat.
Nah, mi pla to kama mas to school tour providing time we bambla. So im kalalun dol civic na mi pla danis la fran. Na mi pla making piniso happy independence li pla kata Papua New Guinea na good sound.
And that's been Tok Piksa. Happy 38th Independence celebrations to you all. Good night.